Well, howdy doody, duties. You know, it's a funny world we live in. I was just thinking about an old boy that meant an awful lot to me. Had a great life. He was doing so good. And then at no fault of his own, I mean, things just crashed around him. He had a great business, a wonderful business. And he had a big, beautiful home. He was a good family man. He loved his children, his wife, and he just had everything going for him. And then all of a sudden, for no reason it seemed, things just crashed. They crumbled. They came to pieces. He lost everything. Lost his business, wound up losing his home. He wound up, his own wife left him. She just couldn't handle it anymore. And everybody that he associated with, all of his friends, they just treated him like an outcast. And then the community, of course, that he was in, why, you know how that is when you lose everything. Why, that community just isn't the same. It seemed like nobody there accepted him. They felt that he probably got what he deserved because he had to be doing something wrong to be punished like that. But you know, punishment isn't the thing. That's not the thing. And he was a man of faith. Well, like any man of faith, he called on his pastor to come and help him, and the pastor come up to him and started quoting scripture and praying, lots of praying. Didn't help him. And he went to a couple of other people, went to another faith, another minister, and that minister gave him more of the scripture and told him to hang in there, just don't let it go. And then he tried the other avenue that so many people try is for the professional help, the counseling with the learned people like the college professors and all that. Didn't help him. He finally felt he just didn't want that bunk anymore. It didn't work. He wanted truth. He wanted something that was real, that would help. His own wife told him, why don't you just deny God and curse God and die? What difference does it make? He said, no, I can't do that. I have faith. I believe. Well, you know, it's not a matter of belief. It's a matter of knowing and holding on to what you know and working out from it from there. You know, today that's probably happened. Oh, I want to tell you about that man. They wrote a book about him. You want to read it? It's in the Bible. It's called Job. The book of Job. A lot of those things are happening to people now. A lot of people I know are losing things, making bad investments and having all their money taken out from under them when they least expect it. They're left high and dry. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago I said, if you keep doing the same things, you get the same results. If you keep thinking the same thoughts, you're going to get what you've always got. So you got to remember that you have to change with the times. You have to understand what's happening at the time that it's happening, and you change with it. No, I would never deny God any more than I love the story about Napoleon back in 1798 when he was taking his ship over to Egypt. And he made the statement that the religions there is what built that country into the empire that it was, but it's also that same religion that was destroying that country. And he was so right. And that led into quite a philosophical discussion because he had lawyers and doctors and more scientific people and intelligent people with him. And they had a long discussion and they decided that God was dead and we no longer needed to recognize God and all that. And Napoleon sat there with his arm across, listened to it all, and when he got ready to leave, he walked out on the deck. They were on the boat on the way to Egypt. And he walked out on the deck, he looked up at the sky, and he called everybody out, and he said, can you tell me, you've told me what God isn't, and you've told me everything could happen, but Can you tell me who made all that? How did all that come into being? Well, back in those days, in 1798, they didn't have a general idea. It was just there. You know, that's kind of the way God is. God is just there. And God has created you in the nature of God, and it's up to you to do your part. You can create, and you can do, and if you're not doing it right, if you're not doing it the way it should do, you're going to have a few things. I remember that one old boy locally here in Arizona, I was talking to a few weeks ago, and he said, hell, it looks to him like God is just as good to the thieves and the wicked as he is to the good people. In fact, I think sometimes God might be a little better because those people are true to themselves. They're doing it, they know what they're doing, and they're going to get theirs in their own way. You see, God doesn't reward or punish. Don't ever get that in your mind, that God's going to punish you or reward you. God's not. He made the creation. On the seventh day, he rested. He said, okay, it's all here, it's all yours. Now do something with it. Make the most out of it. Prove that you are worthy. Now that's a harsh word. Prove that you are worthy. Don't go beyond your means. Don't go beyond your scope of intelligence or your mastery. Go with it, with what you know. Make the changes. Just tonight I was talking to an old boy here at our shoot, and he was talking about programming. He's making a program for an iPhone. I think that's terrific. You see, that's the idea. You live with what you have. Well, 2 years ago there weren't no iPhone. And see, there's no need for a program for it. So now there is. And now we have programs for our computers and programs for this and that. We can do almost anything. And now a little laptop is stronger than the computers were 30 years ago that filled a whole room. Change. Things change. And that's the way it is for you. You've got to change too. The greatest God-given gift that you've got is that power of choice. And you can choose to go on like you were always going on, getting the same results, or you can choose to change and to go with new things and try new things out. Will you always be successful? I hope not. You ain't going to grow if you're always successful. You got to learn. Yet sometimes we learn more from our mistakes than we do from our successes. That's just the way it is. Well, just like what we're doing here. We do this and we put it on our newsletter, and we also put it on YouTube. And the reason we do that is so that you can view it anytime you want to and think about it. But we got to do it within a time structure. We have about 10 minutes we're allowed. A little teenager I was talking to not long ago, he says, I like going to your church. I said, oh? And he says, yeah, it's only 10 minutes long. Well, that's about the attention span of some people. I hope you have more, because we got a lot more information. Wait till next week. And until then, I just want to close with this prayer. God, thanks for my good digestion today, and thanks for getting me some good grub to digest. And that's it for today. Christmas is coming. God bless.